All right, so this video is a two-parter. Not two-part, like I'm gonna talk about and then cut it and then make another video. This is 1 and 2 together, so it's gonna be a little long. So I started, if you didn't stay to the end of the last video, which most people did, it's a 14-minute video. I started Patreon, and so the reason why I'm bringing this up is just kind of, I guess, whatever happened. But I'm just gonna kind of go through the light setup here, and then I'm gonna talk about my Patreon at the end. If you don't want to stick around, that's fine. But on this one right here, I shot with this young lady. She's been a model for a while. She does a bunch of stuff. She came out, and I was really nice to her. And I'm nice to most people in general. Like some people I'm a little cold to, not on purpose. It's just, trying to get the photos, get the shots, and get what I need to get. And but I was talking to her. I was being nice. It was just, chit chat and everything. And my light setup is 3 things. So there's a constant light here that I'm okay. So let's start over. I had a constant light. It was a Godox, and it fell over at a wedding and cracked. So I'm trying to get it fixed. But right now I just deal with the flashes. So I have 2 flashes here. There's a softbox right here on the top right hand side, and on the left there's an umbrella. Now the umbrella is on sometimes. You can see it flashing sometimes you can't. And what I like about the umbrella, especially this room, there's a blue wall, but there's a white roof on top, and behind here there's a white how do I describe it, like a white reflector on that backside. So a lot of the light that's spilling out from behind this umbrella actually is being caught by the roof, by the ceiling, and by that back image that's back there. The one on the right is low powered, and the reason why is because this constant light, it burns through the constant light, so it doesn't. So it's too hot as far as the light's concerned, and I don't really like the way that some of the pictures look. So I have the constant light on as like a hair light with this softbox in the background, kind of like bouncing off that wall. And so right here, there's a couple of shots I'm going to show here in a few minutes that have to do with this one, but this one, there's no constant light. I just wanted it backlit on her. And I should have turned the light a little bit more, but actually I got what I wanted. So I moved the umbrella back because the shots were too hot. Obviously, we only show what, good shots came out. I didn't edit any of the shots that I didn't like. But I think this actually turned out a pretty good studio shoot in general. And like I said, here in a few minutes, I'm going to show you some pictures. Now, this is the first part of the video. Can you tell I grabbed 2 different cameras? I'm not honest. I have 3, but on this shot, I have 2. I shot with an XT3, XT4, and XT5. And I'm going to tell you why you're going to pick the wrong camera. And I know this, I'm going to put 4K on here so you can kind of see it. But the photos, you will not be able to tell which one is the XT3, which one's the XT4, and then which one's the XT5 whatsoever. So here come the photos. Now, these photos, there's a set that's shot on the XT5. So there's 3 different photos here, 3 different images. One of them shot on XT4, and then the other set is shot on the XT3. And this is why you'll pick the wrong camera. I'm just letting you know. I'm going to put this in 4K, and I can guarantee you there's no way you can tell the difference between these photos. I'm going to show you another set of photos here in a minute. Same exact thing. There's no way you can tell at all. And your customer does not care that it's a 40 megapixel camera, it's a flip out screen, that it's an old sensor. Now, I'm going to give you my opinion on the XT5 from this photo shoot in general versus the XT4 and the XT3. And I'm just letting you know I use the exact same lens. I popped it off. I used the 35, and then you're going to see some shots here in a minute. I used the 50 to 140, and that's it. Those are the only 2 lenses I used. I didn't use the 16 mil, which I usually love to use. I used the 35, 50 to 140. I was standing pretty far back. So the 35 I swapped out for each one of these sets of images. So I'm going to show you here in just a moment. Okay, so this next set that's coming up, I moved the camera, we moved to the corner. So I'm going to be honest with you, same thing. I used the 35 mil. I moved my feet, XT5, XT4, XT3. Now, this is what I'm going to let you know. The XT3 could not pick up her face when it was too dark. The XT4 struggled a little bit with the 35, but we're going to talk about that here in a minute. So you can see here, right here, this is the XT4. I had to put more light on there. The XT5 picked it up perfect. I mean, it was pitch black in that corner. And it's really dark, and it picked up her silhouette. It picked up everything about her. I love the autofocus on the XT5. But I'm letting you know that there's no way you or the client can tell the difference between 26 megapixels and 40 megapixels on this. XT5 is overrated for portrait photography. Go get a GFX, like go spend the money on that. I'm going to let you know that the XH2s is the best of all of them. Autofocus was great. I took a little bit of video. I didn't put it in here, but I took a little bit of video. So these last couple of shots that are in here, they're shot. I know it's a different setting, but all these shots were shot with XT3, XT4, XT5. There's no way you can tell the difference. There's no way the client can tell the difference. So if you're debating, hey, what camera should I pick? My strong suggestion to you is to weigh the options. The XT3 battery life is awful. You need the battery grip if you want to do an all day anything. So if you want to do video, if you want to do a whole day wedding, you have multiple shoots that day. So let's say it's a Christmas mini or something like that, or it's an all day trip. You need to have 3 batteries minimum, and that still won't be enough. Maybe 4. You may make it through the day. Okay, so that's the downfall. The screen, I'm going to talk about it in another video because I don't have the example here. But the screen does 3-wheel tilt. If you have the XT4, you have a 3-way tilt with the XT4 also. Like, I don't understand. These people are like, oh, I can't flip it this way. Yes, you can. You can flip it up, tilt it down, bring the camera above your head, and it's the exact same thing. I don't know why these people keep on saying, oh, you can't flip it like this in an XT3. So comes down to the last one, the XT5. The autofocus is amazing. The last firmware update was made, but I'm letting you know, if you are a photo person, the video is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I did a little bit of video with it also. But if you're looking at the price tag, don't go buy a brand new XT4. It's only a couple $100 less than the XT5. The flippy screen, yes, it does give you some problems from time to time. Somebody was like, oh, I have this L bracket on here and it doesn't work. Well, then take the L bracket off. Like, I don't understand you. You didn't have an L bracket on the XT5. Like, I was watching some guy video. And it just doesn't make any sense. Like, they come up with all these stupid excuses. There's nothing wrong with the flippy screen. Fuji was trying to make everybody happy. The video quality is great. Now, I do have a complaint with the 35 millimeter on all 3 cameras. The 35 millimeter f2 just doesn't do well with video in low light like this. This is low light. It doesn't do it well. It doesn't pick her up. I was trying to do the video. It kept on going in and out. I eventually deleted it because it was frustrating me. I should have kept it so I could show you. But this is shot on a GoPro 11. This is shot on BTS GoPro 11. So that's where this video is coming from, right? Okay, so now let's go back to the camera. You're going to pick the wrong camera because you're not going to be happy. You're going to pay too much for an XT5. You're going to get a used XT4. You're not going to be happy about the flip out screen. You don't may not like the ergonomics. There's a battery grip, right? XT5 doesn't have a battery grip. The XT3's autofocus is good. It's great, just like the XH1's autofocus is great, good if you know how to use it. User error sometimes. So they're all good, but you're not going to pick the right one because if you buy the XT3, you're like, oh, I should have got the XT5. If you get the XT5, you're like, oh, this is too expensive. If you get the XT4, you might not be happy with the flip out screen. You will not buy the best camera. And it's all a ploy. I just want to let you know, everything's a ploy. They're just trying to sell you. The XT3 is a perfectly good everyday camera. It's just the batteries suck. The XT4 batteries last forever. I went and did an 8-hour wedding, barely went through the second battery with video and photo. Same thing with the XT5. We did a whole day wedding shoot. I just love the autofocus on the XT5. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It picks up a person almost in complete darkness, and they're in focus, completely in focus. I'm going to show you a couple of shots here in a minute where it was just complete dark, and we got some shots with it. So the XH2s, by far, I would say, if you are more leaning towards video, than you are photo, and that's where you want to build your life, the XH2s is the one. The XH2, don't worry about it. Don't get it. Like, you don't need the megapixels. That's where I come back to. If you do the XT5, you're going to be upset because the megapixels are too big, your computer's too slow, it takes forever to download, to upload. People are going to say, oh, don't do compressed raw or uncompressed raw, whatever it is, right? You'll be fine. So you don't have to get the XT5 because the files are just going to be massive. The XH2, the same thing. The files are going to be massive. You have to go buy the other SD card. It's not an SD card. I can't remember. A CF Express. You have to go buy that. That's another expense. So not only are you paying a couple $100, maybe even $500 more than the XT5, you have to buy that special card to run the video, and the video is not that great. So if you have, and I always tell everybody this, don't cheapen out. Buy the XT4, buy the XT3. The XT4 has a decent IBIS. You don't need, you need a gimbal regardless. I'm going to show a video with that. You don't need a lot of the crazy stuff that goes on with it. And so with that being said, you're going to eat up tons of memory with the XH2s or the XH2, and you're going to eat tons of memory with the XT5. That's something to be considering. I love Fuji. I love Sony. Canon just makes me mad because of the lens thing that they're doing. Nikon is just, I don't know what they're doing, right? But I love Nikon too. Their glass is amazing. But I'm talking about Fuji right now. Fuji, if you get the XT3, you're going to run through batteries. That's going to piss you off. If you get the XT5, you're going to run through memory. I mean, you're going to go through so much memory with just shooting photos, especially for weddings, events, anything that you do. Even this model shoot, and the files are massive. It's just awful. The XH2 is not worth it. The video is not that great. The files are too big. You have to buy a new CF Express card. And then we're going to go back to the XH2s. Same thing. It's too expensive. You have to buy a CF Express card, and you need it. And it's future-proofing you. So if you save up the money, go buy a brand new XH2s, you will be 100% happy overall. The file sizes are going to be manageable because the megapixels are the same as the XT4. The video is going to be great and amazing. You won't be unhappy. You'll have the flip out screen. You have the PASM dial. But if you are a photo first person, XT4, XT3, do not waste your money on the XT5 with the memory. The memory is just going to chew you up. The autofocus is amazing. I love it, but I'm telling you, save the money. Go to XH2s. But if you don't like the PASM dial, then you probably should get an XT4. But if you're okay with spending the money on the memory cards, you're okay with spending the money on the SSD or even the hard drives, and you're a brand new computer, by all means, go get an XT5. But you're going to regret it. You will definitely regret buying an XT5 for the memory purposes. Okay, so that's my little rant as far as the Fuji, and kind of, can you even tell on this video any of the shots? I'm gonna break this portion of the video up here in a second, so it's gonna be long also, but you're gonna see a couple more shots from this portion right here that are shot on the XT5, XT4, XT3, and I can guarantee you're not gonna be able to see any difference from any of the photos whatsoever on here. Last thing I'm going to talk about here in a second, as soon as I pop up some of these photos, is I started a Patreon. I really don't know what to do kind of with it in a sense. I'm doing a lot more nude art portraiture, stuff like that, and BTS behind it. So there's nude shots, and they're just talking about it in general. But let me know if you're stuck this long again. This 2-part, dude, is 15 minutes. Let me know what you think. What could I add to it? I know the pricing's a little high right now. I'm going to lower that pricing down. But in general, I'm trying to make this video a 2-parter. So the first part was Fuji. The second part is this Patreon, and kind of went through it. I obviously don't have any followers. I got 14 people that follow me, so probably not even them that watch these videos. So I appreciate your time. Have a good day, a good night, and I'll see you on the other side.